Alex Ottewell, man, how are you?
How are you doing today?
Man, so number one, second year in a row.
Yes.
This is like the icon booth here.
Try to grab some attention.
Yeah, so let's just start out. So many people that may not have been introduced to you.
Yep.
Maybe just tell us a little bit about your foundation and like where did One World Petroleum come about?
Yeah, so I was a real estate investor 11 years and got bored of that industry, decided to jump over into oil.
Just jump over, guys.
Yeah, so if you think about it, I look at oil and gas in an asset class, just like I would look at real estate. So we focus on cash flow. That's why we buy PDP, because PDP mostly resembles the types of cash flows, ebb and flow, and expenses that you would get with a real estate portfolio. So that's where our investors align, and that's what we're focused on.
Okay, so you don't just jump from real estate to oil. So I just want to talk about the fact that, was there a learning curve? Was there something that you had to experience in order to get this to where it is today?
Yeah, I mean, the first 3 months I was in the game, I literally sat in front of a whiteboard with an engineer. I hired him. He came in. He said, hey, what are we working on? I said, see that whiteboard? Teach me oil and gas.
Wow.
Spent 3 months with him. Came to Nape, actually, in 2023, February, which was 1 month into the industry for me. Found an oil and gas attorney, Keith Bradley. And I said, hey, will you teach me the legal, title, ownership, and contracts with oil? Obviously, having a real estate background, I understand a lot of those things, but it's a different industry. So spent a few months with him also, and then we bought our first asset 4 months in, which was a shallow oil field. It was a little test asset, nothing big. Then we bought a deep gas asset. That kind of gave us some understanding of that. I brought on a higher caliber engineer that essentially knew more about the business. Kept learning from that. Came here as the main sponsor last year. Got a ton of deals sent to us. We learned a lot through that. A lot of guys want to try and play cat and mouse a little bit. And this year we came in pretty primed, got a lot of capital behind us ready, and we want to buy deals.
Wow, it's interesting, guys. I met Alex walking. I mean, literally, I knew that this was the pinnacle of all the booths and the sponsors that I had seen last year, but I didn't know One World Petroleum. I had never met Alex. Walking out, I met his mom first, right? And I was like, how cool is this that his mom, who's is she from the UK?
Yeah, I'm born in England also.
Born in England,
yeah,
right? In the oil business. Okay.
Yeah.
So his mom and I start talking. She makes the introduction, and ultimately I start following what Alex is doing, and I'm keeping my finger on the pulse. What I want to tell you is that over the last year, I have not seen any company put out more content to allow the non-technical audience about oil and gas learn about oil and gas. And this is where I want to pivot to you now.
100%.
Why is it that you're taking the general population, almost the people that have maybe felt like they're not part of this or that there's not a way to get in? Tell me about your Instagram page and like that investment that you made to make and I'm talking about hundreds of videos educating the public.
Yeah, I mean, Harold Hamm actually said this yesterday. One of the things he's working on right now is advocacy for oil. And the energy industry gets attacked all the time. And one thing I really noticed was there's nobody really fighting back. And a lot of companies I know are afraid of losing market share, investors being freaked out. Me personally, I'm kind of a bullish character, obviously with a 2-story booth. I figured that if I could help educate the public and start steering the narrative more positive towards oil, if I'm going to be in this industry for another 20, 30 years, it's super important that the younger generation gets involved. Because I don't know if you've read reports, but jobs are going to be down in the next few years. We're having a real problem. And majority of the operators I talk to in the independent space are in their mid-60s and mid-70s. So if they're small independents and the majors aren't going to go acquire them, there's nobody to pick up that existing production. And I'm 33 years old, and being in real estate for 11 years, I learned very quickly it's okay to be a younger generation in an older industry, because you can grab that knowledge and then apply it in a more modern way. The industry's behind a bit, unfortunately, but I think that one of my goals is by educating all those consumers and those people out there, it'll help the whole industry as a whole. And we're actually working towards more advocacy stuff. We're working on privately that we'll be rolling out soon. One of my goals is to put 1 million people as advocacies. So having 1 million people basically be, I don't know how to put it, but the front charge of oil and gas.
My background, I've worked with venture capital, angel investors, and obviously, for the last 5 years, I've been part of the Oil and Gas Global Network. What always surprises me is that there's two things. When you're on the outside looking in, it can be intimidating. And when you're on the outside looking in, you don't know, will you have a warm welcome? Will people open their, which I'm gonna get into that. But you're wondering, what's it going to be like? What kind of acceptance will I have?
Yeah.
You've had two very different experiences on this with the oil and gas. So let's start off on the challenges as you entered into this, and let's talk about what's going right.
After the last Nape event, we got trolled per se on Twitter. But to be honest with you, the actual companies that do business all welcomed it and loved it. They said, hey, you're doing something right. The problem is, at the end of the day, I'm coming into an industry that people have worked at their whole lives, and I'm trying to do something big right off the line. So it's hard for people to understand that I'm not trying to, be an adversary and poke at them and upset people. I'm just coming at it a little differently. And it's a boring space. I mean, let's be honest. The average geology report or engineering report, most guys don't want to hear about. So when I do a lot of podcasts and different videos about oil and gas, I'm not getting into the technical stuff. I'm just trying to give them a basic understanding, because the better I can help people understand the basics, the more they'll be inclined to want to learn more. I don't have to be that technical guy.
Yeah, and you do a great job at that. I really want to say bravo to you for making interesting videos that even like my own son, he's 20 years old, I say, that's a great place to start. Spend some time on Alex's page. You're going to walk away being able to go into a cocktail room and be able to talk oil and gas.
Yeah.
Okay, now a couple more questions for you, because I know you got people everywhere. So a couple quick things. The other aspect is 2025 is a big year.
Yeah.
What do you forecast for this year? What do you see the challenges? What are you excited about for this coming 10, 12 months?
Well, a big change is we decided after 2 years of being in Tampa, Florida, moving out to Houston.
No.
So we are leaving Tampa to come here to Houston. It is the energy area that we want to be in, and staffing wise it'll be easier, but also network. It's great when I come here and talk to everybody, but throughout the rest of the year, everybody else is on Zoom, right? I'm just talking on Zoom. If I come to Houston, I'm here locally, I can go have those local meetings that everybody else gets to take advantage of. I think that's going to be super important moving forward. For us personally, my goal this year is to buy $100 million worth of PDP. So whether we added in non-op now, operated is great, we still want to buy it, but non-op is an easier pathway with a lot more available assets. So the goal is to pick up about $100 million in PDP this year.
Nice, okay, final question, and I really want you to pause and think about this one.
Sure.
I believe there's misconceptions about you, and there might be misconceptions about One World Petroleum. If there are any, what would they be?
I don't know. We got people thought we were George Soros back. That was interesting.
Really?
Yeah,
because of the One World part, I guess.
Yeah, okay. We've had rumors, Ponzi schemes, all sorts of fun stuff. But no, I would say people look at us as we're trying to cash grab, but that's not my play. What they don't realize is most of my real estate friends and investors, they're used to cash flow. So if I can pair them with PDP assets, which cash flow, and we explain all the ups and downs of PDP, it allows them to kind of step into the industry. So what most guys don't understand is if I bring over, let's say over the next few years, $1 billion in real estate capital into the oil and gas space, well, those people aren't emptying their pockets. So now you have more guys willing to invest in oil and gas that wouldn't invest in it previously, because now they've seen some PDP returns. Drilling is super important, don't get me wrong, but majority of guys that don't invest big in oil is because they're worried about losing all their money in drilling. Though there's some wonderful returns in it, PDP is a little bit more predictable, and it's a more comfortable area for them to invest, and that's why we're focusing on that.
Okay, and then before we go, your target prospect, the people that really, if they reached out to you, you'd be just so happy to have a conversation. Yeah. Who are they? What does that look like? Just so that our audience can know to reach out.
Yeah, I mean, we want legacy assets. We love it when an operator said, hey, I've owned this company 50 years. I want to divest, but I don't want my team to get fired. You know, that's one of our things. We will keep your team if we're purchasing an operated asset. We want the team. You know, they have the experience in the field, and that's how I'm able to leverage my abilities of business to their abilities of oil and gas. We also we like shallow conventional. We want the stuff that will tick along for a while, but also has some upside in it. I like entire companies. Like I had 4 companies offer me today, and we're moving forward to try and see what they'll do. As long as they're not too greedy. I say one of the issues with legacy assets, if they've never divested before, is they don't really understand what their company's worth. So if we're able to educate them a little bit more, it kind of helps them. Obviously, it could be deemed biased because we are the buyer, but we're not trying to cut anybody's heads off. We want fair deals for both parties. We really mean that. Because at the end of the day, this is a long-term business and everybody knows each other. So I don't want to be the guy known to cutting off heads. I want to be the guy that gets fair deals, but we all make money.
Wow. Well, thank you, Alex. You know, I will tell you guys, it's been interesting. You meet Alex, and he's a force to be reckoned with, right? We're both out in Tampa, so I've had the chance to have a cigar with this guy.
Came to my New Year's party.
Came to the New Year's party. You know, when you see that somebody has great relationships and good family, and they're doing something, I think for me anyway, it's just been something that I've really focused on, just learning more. And the more I learn, I really just want to thank you for what you're doing. And I appreciate you making time for all of this. And this is great. Thank you.
Excited.
All right.
Be a good year.
Boom.